And Europa is an exciting moon of Jupiter to explore, and apparently an ice crust with water underneath. Upon more familiarization with the surface topography, it is evident that there are interesting designs and creations on the surface, in between the subsurface, and underneath, in addition. And this panorama might be obtained via the Jet Propulsion Laboratory's photojournal and other URLs and websites. And the Jovian camera credits go to Juno and its intricate network. And let's experiment with its features a bit more. With its icy surface and water underneath the crust. And the presence of water and ice indicates the possibility of life. Now, upon introduction to this moon, you start to recognize some amazing shapes, structures, and architecture. Just by zooming in a bit, you may start to notice these structures right away. You might also recognize that there are some amazing shapes, structures, and architecture. And with the bottom left version of this panorama, spiral shaped linear patterns, linear architecture, city like architecture, towers, and the like may be distinguished. As soon as your eyes get familiar with the panorama, could this be otherworldly extrapolations of design? Now, could these in fact be transportation tunnel tubes or pathways, building architecture, settlement zones, i.e., city like areas? Please speculate according to your choice, of course. And with the artistic enhancement instrument, soft glow, these shapes may be readily discerned. You can notice spiral tubes, elevated designs, linear city-like patterns, and these are all there, of course. The geometry, it's quite astonishing. Now with the edge detect tool and some contrast tinting or whatnot, you may notice structures and shapes elevated and with design to a somewhat more exemplified mode. This definitely indicates that Europa is more than just an icy moon. And this view of Europa rotates the panorama a bit, 180 degrees actually, and it increases the magnification also just a tad, and you may be able to notice shapes, structures, and linear patterns as well. Could this in fact be a large type of wall here as well? You can determine, of course, that those structure shapes and patterns are still there. And specifically, you could notice those shapes and patterns and structures just mentioned. It's been flipped back the other way. Now you can see that there is a linear path here. Could this be a straight line type of wall on the surface or whatnot? And here are those spiral tube-like patterns here as well. Some curves, linear curves around here. And this oval-shaped tunnel appears to be off of the surface at about 45 degrees. There's also an oval tubular structure here as well, in addition to some other settlement-like designs and structures. Is this some type of city structure? And notice the shapes here as well. There seems to be some towers, V-shaped designs here, more spiral-shaped structures here as well. And with the high magnification tool used a bit more here, you can determine that those structures we just noted, shapes and patterns and whatnot, they're still there. And notice these intricate linear patterns as well. Very interesting. Adding to the theme that Europa is much more than just frozen water and ice. with this view, it brings to focus some areas with the dodge and trimming tool, bringing out designs with enhancing the light and shadowing effects. We've noted these areas before. City-like structures here, bridges, tunnels, pathways, the spiral-like tubular structure here. Is it a transportation path here as well, more than likely? Elevated edifice and the like. And adding on the chroma hue tool, you can see that the structures and shadows are somewhat more enhanced here. And these shapes and patterns are there. And with this view, with the notch instrument, this perspective adds somewhat more detail, yet again, and are we in fact looking at planned designs here? I.e. tunnels, building architecture, bridges, pathways. This is always open to conjecture, of course. And the next view notes that the enhancement of the shapes and designs with the dodge and trim tool are quite effective over the larger area. You can see the initial primary types application of this instrument, and of course more detail is brought out according to how much enhancement you're willing to spend time on. This would be the wider area. And adding the chroma hue tool, you can see that those structures and shapes and patterns are definitely evident here, along with some very interesting geometry. Buildings established on the surface, elevated structures, very interesting architecture. And this particular design on the surface of Europa is quite intriguing as well. It appears to be some type of opening. And when you zoom in a bit, you can detect what seems to be a type of tunnel. Now, is this a pathway or a transportation in and out of this opening? I notice there are some structures around this opening as well, and this might be a mini opening here as well. wouldn't want to get too pixelated. So you can see it does appear to be a type of tunnel here. Going into and out of that particular area. All in all, Europa is quite fascinating, and going over all of these various views, you are encouraged to come up with your particular speculation on this. And the noticeable topography of Europa is quite intriguing. There are many options to speculate on and compose some ideas about. Whether city-like structures, transportation tunnels, towers, bridges, monuments, and the like, there is quite a lot to place your imagination on. And the elements it is composed of, i.e., water, ice, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, all have implications for biological parameters. Until next time, thank you for your time.